When last we left our intrepid adventurers, we were up against 3. Spell the King Arthur.
3, sir. 3.
5 is after we defeat these 3. Anyway, 3 of these legendary sandworm beasts. And so, since we have Aram Ben-Jarad with us, who is a desert druid, and is totally in tune with everything and stuff, John gives us a slight leg up. He points to the various places on the map and says, okay, next round they're coming out of the ground, here, here, and here. So we're able to sort of, array ourselves and get set up and ready some actions and things.
Because they could theoretically swallow the entire party in one action.
Yeah.
They're that big.
They're huge. They have a swallow attack that's an area attack. So we spread out a bit. So I used Anthem of Progress, which gives everyone on their at-will attacks a crit range of 11 to 20. It's ridiculous. And I can't remember what else the rest of the party did for setting up. Croesus, I think, raised his armor and stuff like that. Serendipity went up in the air and went phasing and insubstantial and stuff.
With your house rules, the crit range thing is crazy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Baddies go bye-bye.
Yeah. So the sandworms burst up, and Aram Ben-Jarad dominated one of them. So, okay, that one's mine for a round, I think it was. So no one hit that guy, because he's mine. He's my pet sandworm.
Right.
Also, I think if you hit him, the domination ends.
Right.
So there were 2 sandworms, essentially, that we were working on. And so we focused fire on one of them, did a bunch of damage to it. And then it was Sandworm's turn. And the one that we'd done a bunch of damage to ate cricket. The one that Aram Ben-Jarad had dominated tried to eat that one, so that we'd have this turducken worm inside a cricket. Or other way around, actually. But that didn't work. To pity, would have been hilarious. And then it was the party's turn again. Let's see. Cricket tried, cutting her way out, I think?
I think before Cricket got eaten was the first one had already died. Because it was, a couple people had hit it, and then Cricket, yes, that's right.
Oh, yeah.
Cricket did something that gave Hank an at will, which he critted on, and then he has
his crit said he could do 2 more basic attacks.
That he critted on.
Oh, yeah.
And so he got over half of its hit points in one round, and it was with an attack that led to instant death. So it just came up out of the ground, and he used his magic sword, and it just bisected into 2 halves.
Yeah. So in the first round, one of them got one-shotted by Hank again.
One of them was dominated, and the other one ate Cricket.
Right.
Right. So then it was our round again after that, and I tried eating my way out. I don't think I quite made it. Or is that what I did?
I don't know if you even got that far
because
Hank came up.
Hank came and did a critical hit on its gut, and John ruled that allowed Hank to cut Cricket out. So yeah. So the worm swallowed the snake. Hank cut the worm open. The snake came out of the hole.
Right.
It was very disturbing and disgusting.
And muscular action closed it behind.
It didn't have the opportunity. But yeah, it was
strength from that.
It was quite disgusting all around.
A lot of tubes going in and out of other tubes.
Yeah.
Muscular appendages.
I just remember that muscular action closes the hole behind you from second edition. Every monster that's swallowed had an escape.
So, and then Hank one-shotted it.
How did the crits work? I can't remember the details.
Very well, I feel.
Is he one-shotting them because of the crit table?
Partly. He's also just a monster striker.
Yeah.
I would say the crit table only played a small role.
Yeah.
It played the role that I have the rule that if you do more than half their hit points in one
go,
then you get the far column, which a lot of the good ones are death, and then the lesser ones are some permanent debilitation.
Okay.
So, then it was party turn. Let's see. What did the worm do? The worm tried to swallow. It wasn't Cricket this time. Did it try to swallow Croesus?
The dominated one got undominated?
Oh yeah, it was only a round.
Oh, okay.
I think
Yeah.
Croesus said, "Oh yeah, he tried attacking someone else, and Croesus went, wait, and interposed himself.
Right.
Yeah.
And so it tried to swallow
And
Croesus.
Robin was so disappointed because it was trying to eat Gerard.
Yeah.
And she had phasing, so she was just gonna phase
out.
And be like, man, look what I did. But then Croesus jumped in the way and got eaten instead. And he didn't. He when he rolled his thing, he took half damage instead of no damage. So
Right.
I think
He actually got
100
hurt.
damage. So
Yeah.
he took 50.
He took a pile.
Yeah. So then I don't know if Hank actually got to go, but Cricket one-shotted him.
Oh.
Hank was upset about that. He wanted a clean sweep. He wanted the thing.
Yeah, it wasn't exactly one shot.
know.
She dealt the final.
I
blow.
dealt the final.
Okay.
It was nasty. I mean, I've got a vicious short bow, and this crit range is insane.
Yeah.
So
So it was like 66.
60-12.
60-12 plus whatever.
2d8 plus stuff.
Yeah.
If it wasn't immune to poison, I would have been doing even more. So yeah, we massacred these things. These legendary beasts that no one has ever defeated before.
Right.
We killed 4 of them.
Just goes to show you how tough you guys are.
Yeah. And then we had our unseen servants start pulling all our teeth out. So that was actually it was big combat, but it was a distraction.
Yeah.
We were sort of like, oh man, we wasted a bunch of dailies on these things.
Yeah.
It may or may not have been necessary. It made it go real easy. I don't know how bad it would have been because every time they swallowed someone, they tried burrowing underground. If they got away like that,
okay.
I could see that being a real nasty problem.
Right. Yeah.
None of them ever got away though. So after we'd finished with the sandworms, we went back to trying to find the obelisk.
Yeah.
So we're looking for a giant field of stumps in the desert. Instead, we find a giant forest in the desert. It's like, what?
That's weird.
Weird, indeed. It's this weird, dry forest. It looks lush, but everything's dry.
Yeah.
So, Cricket scouts ahead. And it was amazing. This is like the first time in the entire campaign where I was actually able to scout ahead proper-like.
Right. The party didn't, order you to not do it.
Right.
Or ruin it.
Or ruin it by just being, noisy idiots that follow along right behind me, stepping on my tail and everything. I guess being a queen does have some privileges, and one of them is that they'll stop saying, "Oh, it's okay, little Cricket, I'll help you."
Yeah.
So, I scouted ahead into the forest, and I found a logging camp where there were all these warforged cutting down trees. So I followed where they were taking the trees.
Actually, if I get a thing to box it up, that would be great. Thank you.
So we're logging and taking the trees somewhere.
Yeah. Now, my base stealth skill is 40. So...
They don't see you.
Yeah. And I had a bunch of situational bonuses and stuff like that, and basically I rolled a 58.
Yeah.
They couldn't... Wow.
58 on stealth.
Yeah. So I just went wherever and I watched and stuff. I was communicating with sending stones to keep the party abreast of what was going on.
Right.
And they were actually following sanely. They were circling around and stuff.
Staying away.
It was weird. So they were taking the trees to this other camp where they were doing a bunch of cutting them up and carving pieces and doing a bunch of forging with metal and stuff like that. And we figured out that they were making more warforged.
Right.
Out of the trees from the forest. Did we figure out that the trees were undead, or was that just...
that was previous to the scouting because it just had a creepy
Good
feel
knowledge
or
check or something.
Someone arcaned them and sensed that they were undead. And
Yeah, so the trees are undead, and that's why they can grow in the desert. And so they're making warforged out of these undead trees.
But it was still weird that they weren't stumps because that's what everyone remembered.
So I continue on. There's a secret path. I managed to do a good perception check. I find a secret path. I follow it and find this wooden dome. It's about 60 feet across, 30 feet tall. And there's a couple of warforged guarding a door, a simple little door in this wooden dome that's in the middle of the forest. So I decide, okay, I'm so stealthy I could just go in, but let's see what information I can get out of the warforged through my really high bluff score as well, because I have a really high bluff score. So I disguise myself as a warforged. I have a hat of disguise and a super high bluff score.
Oh, okay, so everybody totally buys it.
Yeah. Everyone buys it. He's like a snake wearing a Warforged mask, and I'm like, bluff. Anyway, no, it's a little bit more elaborate than that, but whatever.
Magic's involved.
Magic.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the hat of
There's
disguise.
an illusion of a Warforged, and I'm puppeteering it and stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I go up to the Warforged that are guarding the place, and I tell them that I need to report a strange discovery that's been made by the logging team. And they're sort of like, you don't need to report any strange. What are you talking about? This is there's no need for any of this. Whatever it is you have to report, everything is going according to optimal plan. But I didn't sweet talk it, but I sort of convinced them that I wanted to go in and report anyway, and they sort of rolled their eyes and were like, okay, fine, go ahead, give your report. It's useless, but. They didn't even really ask what it was I wanted to report.
Right.
Or was it that? I think.
No, yeah, they didn't.
They didn't even really ask, because they knew whatever it wasn't actually important.
Right.
So I went into this, went through the door into the dome, and there was 3 Warforged in robes arranged around the dome, and in the center of the dome was this big fancy orrery, and in the middle of the orrery there was a guy. And John showed us this photo. He's like the most completely boring normal guy.
Yeah, it was mainly supposed to be his face, and he looked like really dejected because he's like because the orrery is all these spinning things, and he's like attached to a piece, and he's just like and he was like wearing creepy black robes, but he just looked like totally beaten down and
He's just this guy.
And the other things in the orrery have like these like swirls of green energy forming and pulling in from all directions, and they're going down the center into the ground.
And so
there's 3 Warforged in robes standing, just kind of watching.
And so the Warforged approach me and say, what are you doing in here? You should be out there logging trees.
Right.
And I say, we've made a discovery I felt needed to be reported. There's 4 dead sandworms that we've discovered. We are concerned that there's, a threat out there that might be trying to infiltrate as we speak. Best lies have a little truth in them. So they were like, yeah, we know that that there's. Did they call us by?
I think they said the deprecated element is probably. But we know they're probably coming, so that's not a surprise.
Yeah.
Thanks for your report.
Yeah. They were very condescending. We were going to kill them all. And so before I left, I did a quick Arcana check. Is this guy tough? On the guy that's in the middle of the aura. And I rolled pretty high, which is good. Because, he's a level 40 solo.
The sad guy in the orrery.
Yeah. But he's pretty beaten down.
The sad loser-looking guy.
Yeah. Level 40
Level
solo.
40 solo. He's like, oh, wozy, whoa.
Is he a sand mage?
It's more like he's been like, he's been defeated, beaten up, and attached to this device for who knows how long.
Yeah.
Like his whole existence is suffering.
Yeah. So I get out of the dome, go back into hiding, tell the rest of the party what I've seen, and then we all meet up, and we figure out pretty quickly and easily with some history checks. We figure out that there aren't an awful lot of level 40 solos in the world.
Yeah.
Especially level 40 solos who seem to be associated with necromantic energies in some way. It's Corbland.
Of course it's Corbland.
It's Corbland.
Oh, that makes so much sense.
Yeah. And so we do a bunch more knowledge checks and history checks and arcana checks and all that kind of stuff, and we sort of figure out what's going on.
Right.
Right, we didn't right away.
Yes.
Right, yes, you're right. Sorry. We figured it was Corbland.
Right.
But we didn't figure anything else out right away because my Arcana's okay, but it's not great. At least not for an epic level. So we figured, okay, let's go and have Serendipity take a look at this thing. And she'll roll insanely and figure everything out.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, okay, they'll have to fight their way in. Figure this all out.
And we're like, it's just a wooden dome, right?
Yeah.
We don't need to go through the door.
Right.
We'll just make a hole. And John's like, well, how?
And I'm like, yeah, they'll make a hole, and they'll make a noise, and they'll all come fight you.
Right.
And I'm like, no, I won't make a noise. making things into cheese doesn't make noise. I have a special unique ability. I can turn natural materials into cheese.
So they make a cheese hole and then just fry pieces of it out, and Serendipity
We actually went to
the
the top of the dome, and so the hole is like right in the top.
and it was actually a thing because once he learned it was Corblin, Croesus was like, okay, I'm taking my long spear, kill him.
Yeah.
Because not only is he like this evil necromancer, but he talks in Croesus's head every day because he has the disease. But as a Warforged, he doesn't turn into a zombie. He just is like every day he hears Corblin saying, "Rise, and obey me. Come to the mountains and serve me."
Right.
And he's like, "No," every day. And he's just like, he really hates Corblin.
Oh my god.
Like every day. Yeah.
And
Wait, so like this is like part of his morning routine. He makes a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
He's like reading the paper, and all of a sudden this guy comes, "Join me."
Rise up and come join my dark ambition. Meanwhile, that guy's like tied up to the
because his
DPE.
because his thing in history is that he made like this zombie apocalypse by rising all zombies to him, and still when people die of certain things, they turn into zombies. So he has like some huge power over the undead.
Yeah.
And the thing, once this all happened, Croesus realized that actually in this version of reality, actually Corblin hasn't been talking to him as much, and he seems to be saying, "Rise and join me in the desert instead of in the mountains." So it's like he didn't really notice it had changed, but it's like, wait, that's not how it was originally. Now he wants me to join him in the desert. Yeah.
So when we accidentally saved the obelisk, it did something different this time through. It captured Corblin somehow.
Right.
Sure.
Somebody there.
So he was like, okay, as soon as I have a chance, long spear.
Yeah.
And so they had to Crook's like, oh, it just takes a while to make this whole Serendipity, get over and look at the bottom. You know.
So I made a bluff check in order to delay Croesus long enough that Serendipity could make her Arcana check.
Right.
To see if she could figure out what's up with the apparatus and stuff because I was a little bit concerned that, you know, Corblin is like this super necromancer guy.
Yeah.
Is killing a necromancer is kind of the worst thing to do.
You can do,
And
maybe his current predicament is the best thing.
Yeah, might be, So I definitely wanted Serendipity to have a look before Croesus stuck a spear into him.
Yeah.
So Serendipity looks through the hole I'm making in the ceiling and does her usual insanely high Arcana check. I've got the insanely high stealth, she has the insanely high Arcana.
Yep.
And she figured out what was going on with this apparatus. It's a ghost harvester. It has been intercepting the souls of the dead throughout the world for hundreds of years now.
Oh my.
And channeling them into the undead forest, causing new trees to grow.
Oh. Okay.
Which are then being used to make Warforged. And at this point, as she's explaining this, I'm like, oh, come on! The Warforged have souls too now? What, do the cobblestone have a soul? Does everything have a soul in this world? Because I've been thinking, you know, the Warforged would be a nice alternative because they're soulless automatons, but no, they're soulful automatons, soulful abominations.
The whole party starts arguing about it.
We all start arguing about this.
On top of the wooden dome.
On top of the wooden dome, and
with a cheese hole.
Yep, and so we lose our element of surprise. John says
like,
they notice
they hear
that.
you,
They attack. So that's where we laughed because the thing was the rate at which souls were coming in, Serendipity figures has probably intercepted all souls from all souls that would have passed on to the afterlife have been sucked here for however long this thing has been running and have been turned into ultimately Warforged. So there's a lot more Warforged than there was originally.
Yeah. And they have souls. Maybe the original Warforged.
Do they have souls?
Now they're screwed up.
Well, no one's tested, but they're made of undead wood. So one assumes they have like an undead soul, like a ghost kind of thing.
Yeah. That's actually like what Cricket has. So maybe it's not so bad after all. But still, it was a very shocking and annoying discovery.
Yeah, because one argument could be that the soul gets consumed to power the growth of the trees.
Much like what happens with the domestic original. The soul dies in the process. But anyway, So yeah,
I like that. Man.
Well, I'm imagining it kind of like a ghost. So like the ghost powers of Warforged, but like like Ghost, it can't pass on to the afterlife properly until the Warforged dies because it's like trapping its ghost to make it live.
That's pretty awful.
That actually is terrible.
So
This world is full of horrible abominations.
and
How did
it's like that. It's not so
forest first come into existence? I think we just
it just was added, and then someone made it an undead forest because they didn't like.
That might have been me.
I was like, it's a magical jungle in the desert that's dry, but somehow it exists.
Yeah.
And then someone was like, I can't handle that. It's undead. Yeah, when they were walking through it, I was like, yeah, you're walking through ferns and stuff, but underfoot is sand. It's dry and dusty.
Yeah.
There were no mosquitoes.
No mosquitoes.
Yeah, because they need water.
I tried to think of as many programmer. There was the one thing when the lumberjack camp. They were cutting down the trees, and the one tree didn't fall exactly where it was supposed to, and the lead guy was like, "This is not what we talked about, Ryan."
I'm gonna kill him. Anyway, so yeah, that's where the session ended. We're about to jump down the hole and start wantonly killing stuff.
Yep.
Did Serendipity actually do a check on what will happen when we kill Corbland? Because
you don't know for sure, but he's not undead himself, so.
Was he a lich?
no,
It's not clear who he was. He's just a guy who commanded the undead.
turns out he's
Okay.
just some loser.
Because there was that circle of people that did the.
Yeah, those are different guys.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah, I mean, there's nothing. Actually, there was nothing indicating that killing him would do anything but killing him. But
Okay.
you don't know for sure.
Yeah. I mean, I'm still concerned about it, but at least there were no obvious giant red flags like.
Yeah, we don't know when the Obelisk decided to snatch him.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, he's powerful, but.
Snatching Corbland is snatch Corbland, yeah.
I mean, he
That's
has like
not-
an army of Warforged.
Yeah,
So.
and it's Corbland, you know. You can't. It's not like just deciding to become the Serpent Queen one day.
Well, I mean, he is also the Obelisk.
Planning
so
on
it's
taking
like,
a new role in history, Brian?
No, I was sort of emphatic at one point. It's like, no, I'm not going to replace Corbland.
So, I got a sandworm for a pet, and then Hank killed it. I always knew having a brother would be like that.
After it was done being your pet.
I could have made it my pet again tomorrow. You never let me kill anything. You need to learn to share, Hank. Anyway, it would be fun to hunt sandworms, except he always does all the killing. Oh, we found Corbland.
You know, it's crazy. After, 3-4 combats where I didn't really do much, it's nice to finally get out there and have some bloodshed and by my hand, and it feels good, man. It feels real good. I killed 3 of those things. It wasn't even that hard. Oh yeah, and Corbland's here.
Ah, stupid. Use the staff to cast magic. Don't throw a dagger at him. Where did the dagger even come from? How long have I had this dagger? This is my letter opener. Oh yeah, and Corbland's here.
Well, scratch another one off the list. It appears that Warforged aren't properly made either. They have souls as well. I'm beginning to worry that technique has been truly lost somehow in the mists of time. How did Melody figure it out? What did I miss? Well, I have this rock spell that creates unseen servants as a bit of a fallback, I suppose. I had really hoped to be able to create proper servitors, though. Oh well. Oh yes, and it appears Corbland is here.
You know, back in the Grey Wall, they taught us that it can be incredibly difficult to convince the the other races of incredibly simple things, such as if there's someone who kills enormous numbers of innocent people and then ruins your life by, sending you to the worst place in the world with a bunch of friends, and then your friends all die. And he talks to you every day, except apparently he hasn't been. Anyways, if you find Corbland, and if he's weak, you stick a long spear. Oh, hey, there he is. I'm gonna go stick a long spear into him now.